Thank you, and I also wanted to recognize one more very important Ivy League representative who is here today, and that is Coach Norris Wilson from Columbia University. This is recruiting season, so Coach Wilson, we really appreciate you being here. I'll turn the program back over to George.
Thank you, Robert. Before I introduce the honorees and their coaches, I'd like to add that while we don't have a brown beard on the stage, we did beat both Dartmouth and Harvard this year. Maybe say it. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Dartmouth head football coach Buddy Stevens. He is in his second stint at Dartmouth, leading the Big Green to a 6-4 record this season, and has also served as a head coach at Maine, Tulane, and Stanford. In 1979 Dartmouth graduate, Coach Stevens also won the Bushnell Cup. In 1978 as a quarterback at Dartmouth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce Buddy Stevens.
It was nice to have him protecting me way back in the day. Just want to say thank you for having this National Football Foundation. This is as classy an event as I've been involved with. It really elevates the Ivy League in the eyes of an awful lot of people. It's a tremendous level of play, and the quality of the student athletes that compete, it's unique. I've coached at a lot of different levels. But it's fun when you line up and you have guys that can do the things that Gino and Nick have done, and also find out they will be doctors and engineers, corporate execs, and so forth. So thank you for having such an event today. Robert, thank you for all the work you've done with the Ivy League. To the parents, congratulations. You raised your son so well, both academically, athletically, and socially. Gino, I was so impressed with you and so happy that you graduated. Nick was a tremendous addition for us. It really was a very competitive recruiting opportunity. He was torn between a number of Ivy League schools. Dartmouth was not the most successful school representing itself. He took a tremendous leap of faith to come with us. We talked to him at the time about the opportunity to develop and grow as an athlete, as a student, and as a person. And he surpassed all of our expectations. Were extremely high. The best thing about Nick is his humility. It's always someone else's support and responsibility. The holes the offensive line has opened up for him, and it says an awful lot for him. We wouldn't be where we are without his successes in his work. His reliability, week after week, he's there. His toughness. He was a targeted guy. He led the league in carries, and everyone knew he was coming, and he just kept on coming. Leadership was just invaluable, and just changing the mindset of our school, of our team, to a Dartmouth Cannon factory. And we're very, very proud of what he's accomplished. The competitiveness it's bled throughout the team. Dartmouth is back. It's taken a long period of time without Nick would have been possible. I just realized my boss is here, and Harry Sheehy, thank you for all that you've done in the short time you're here. And Nick, congratulations, well deserved. I'm very excited to have you back this year.
Thanks, Coach. Our first co-winner is a Norton, Massachusetts native. Compiled one of the best seasons ever posted by a Big Green tailback. Nick Schwager led the Ivy League in scoring and all-purpose yards and was named the Ivy League Offensive Player of the Week 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce Nick Schwager. Nick?
Good morning. First, I'd like to say it's an honor and a privilege to receive this award. So many great players have received this award before me, and it's a great honor to be considered amongst them. Now, some thank yous. First, I'd like to thank the NFF and the Ivy League for hosting this event. As Coach Stevens said, this is a great venue, and once again, thank you. I'd like to thank my family for all of the support they've shown me this whole entire season. Without you guys, this would have been impossible. I'd also like to thank my teammates, specifically my offensive line. They've just done such a great job this entire year, and they've really come along in the last couple of years. So thank you to them. I'd also like to thank my coaches, Coach Stevens, Coach Pryor, offensive coordinator, my position coach, Coach Wilkerson. They've all done such a great job this entire year. I'd also like to thank the Dartmouth administration, faculty, and fans for all their support this entire year. They've been so great. You know, we've been down the past couple of years, and it was good to finally give them something to cheer about this year. I'd also like to thank Gino Gordon for all the competition this season. It was a lot of fun. You know, we were constantly battling out, and I think it paid dividends a little bit. So thank you. And lastly, I want to thank all of you for coming to Waldorf today. And once again, I'm humbled by this honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. With 17 seasons as a head football coach at Harvard University, Tim Murphy has guided the Crimson to 5 Ivy League titles. In 2001, he guided Harvard's first undefeated, untied season since 1913. In 2004, directed the Crimson to his first 10-0 season since 1901. This year, he directed Harvard to a 7-3 record. In addition to 5 seasons as head coach at Cincinnati and 2 seasons at Maine, Coach Murphy has claimed 143 wins as a head coach. I give you Tim Murphy.
First of all, thank you to Steve Hatchell and the National Football Foundation, me and Robin Happ, as parents of the Ivy League, for sponsoring this event. As Buddy said, this is a great venue, a great opportunity to showcase the Ivy League. Also, congratulations to Dartmouth and Nick Schweiger. They had a tremendous season. There's no question the Big Green is back, and congratulations on your accomplishments. Coaching guys like Gino and Nick, they're easy. They make good coaches out of us. Gino was one of the really outstanding people and players I've ever been around. As a player, to put it in a little bit of context, over the course of his career, he averaged 5.3 yards per carry, which I believe is the most in Harvard history, which includes a guy like Clifton Dawson, who is a leading rusher in Ivy League history. He's one of those guys that every time you gave him the ball, he'd do something you couldn't coach. And those are the great ones. For all the times he carried the ball, the thing he really liked to do, he loved to block. He was fearless, he was tough, he was very physical, and that's really what made his teammates and peers respect him. As a person, had an amazing work ethic, always the great leader, didn't say much. He was the guy that when you really needed something from your team, he would be able to bring it out of them. And one thing that young people aren't always comfortable with today is holding their peers to the same high standard that you hold yourself, and that's something Gino really excelled at. Players like Nick and Gino make great coaches. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. The next co-winner hails from Bonita, California. He also posted one of the best seasons ever as a running back in school history. Gino Gordon has a 5.3 career yards per carry average, which is the best in history of Harvard Crimson football. And they've been playing football there for an awful long time. So, he also has rushed for 23 touchdowns in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you Gino Gordon.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to the Ivy League. This is actually the first time I've been to New York, not playing a football game, so thank you very much. I want to congratulate you, Nick. You had an amazing season. You definitely, I enjoyed the competition. It was great. And I'd like to thank Coach Murphy. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come here and play and be our person. Without you, this would have been possible. I'd also like to thank the rest of the coaching staff. Couldn't have been here, but they're also integral to my success. I'd also like to thank my teammates, more specifically the offensive line. Because I would say right back to their offensive line, and they did a great job. And I already promised them dinner, so it's going to be a lot of mouths to feed. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents, who actually surprised me and were able to take me to this event. Coming out of California, I really do appreciate it. And thank you for putting up with me and taking me on my football games. I really appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gino. On behalf of the National Football Foundation and the Ivy League, I'd like to thank all of you for attending this presentation today. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great to see these terrific student athletes get the recognition that they deserve. And these two outstanding coaches in the Ivy League get its proper place. I want to thank Steve Hatchell and his team for all they've done to make this possible, and obviously Robert's leadership at the Ivy League. So thanks so much for coming. The coaches and players will be available for pictures and photos. And that concludes our ceremony. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.